as President Trump defends his ongoing war with Iran.
We're doing very, very well in Iran. Knocking the hell out of them.
And with no end in sight to the deadly conflict, an age-old constitutional debate has come into focus. Can the U.S. enter a war without congressional approval?
But at this point, Congress is absolutely absent.
He also didn't prepare the American people and didn't prepare the Congress.
On paper, the U.S. Constitution is clear. Congress shall have the power to declare war. But decades of blurred lines and bloody battles got us to this point.
That the Congress declare.
The last time the U.S. officially declared war was against Japan after the Pearl Harbor attack in 1941. Historically, presidents relied on Congress to sign off on military funding before a war began. But in 1950, President Harry Truman sent troops to Korea without permission from lawmakers.
Truman said that he had UN authorization to conduct those operations and that he could execute those under his own authorities as the commander-in-chief.
Congress eventually signed off on funding, but it marked a turning point and an expansion of presidential power. After decades of fighting in Korea and Vietnam, and tens of thousands U.S. troops dead, Congress tried to reassert control, passing the War Powers Resolution in 1973 over President Nixon's veto. The law requires presidents to notify Congress within 48 hours of deploying troops and limits military action to 60 to 90 days without approval. But presidents and Congress alike have since strayed from that, including Ronald Reagan in Panama, Bill Clinton in Kosovo, and Barack Obama in Libya. And after the 9/11 attacks, Congress passed the authorization for use of military force, or AUMF, in 2001.
It was very broadly worded and authorized the president to use force to attack and capture and kill anyone associated with those attacks. It basically very broadly written, and in fact has been used by every president since then, to justify various actions.
A second AUMF led to more than a decade of U.S. military force in Iraq and the surrounding region.
That, to me, is Congress exercising its Article 1 power to authorize war, even though it doesn't use the label of a declaration of war.
Now, Congress is essentially giving a green light with inaction. Republicans blocking several votes intended to restrict President Trump's military campaigns, from strikes on alleged drug boats to the capture of Venezuela's Maduro. And just last week, the GOP-controlled Congress rejected a measure that would have forced the White House to end its war in Iran. With Congress on the sidelines and Cuba now in the president's crosshairs.
Whether I free it, take it, I think I can do anything I want with it.
Democrats are preparing to force a vote on prohibiting military action in that country without congressional approval. A moment when the checks and balances of power face its next test. In Washington, Julie Tsirkin, NBC News.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.